go. There we go. Right. Legends, welcome. Smash up that like button on your way in. If you're not already subscribed, this is where we do pure technical analysis. No emotion, no FOMO, no catching falling knives, jumping on shooting rockets. Okay, here we do proper technical analysis. So if you want to learn how to trade properly, okay, this is the channel for you. Okay, if you want to FOMO into trades and lose a lot of money, well, then you need to go somewhere else. Go follow the Moon Boys. Right. Legends, welcome. Stefan, you said I must do a short little update, if I'm reading your comment right. Okay, Stefan said I must do a short update. So, guys, right, I've shared my screen. You can see where I'm planning to long, where I'm planning to short. Right. There's something that, let me know if you guys can see me, if you can hear me properly. Okay, it does not look like you guys can see my face. Right, it does not look... What did I click on the wrong buttons? Let me know. Can you guys see my face? No face. Can you guys see my face? Not? Let's see if maybe I'm clicking on the wrong buttons over here. Preview mode, back to live mode. There we go. Oh, now you should be able to see my face. No face. No, we can't see your face. Okay, you should be able to see my face now. Let me know if you guys can see my face. Yes, there we go. Sorry about the technical issue, Legends. I clicked on the wrong button. I don't know what the hell I did. But anyways, now it's back. You guys can see my face. Now it's good. Right. Remember to smash up that like button. Let's dive into the technical analysis. And I know myself and the pro members are currently in a small little scalp long. I already took some profits, protected my position. So if price wants to continue to fall, let it fall. Okay, got stopped out once today, and now this one is has actually paid back my previous stop loss, plus a little bit of profits to cover fees. And now we just see, okay, how high does it want to go here to the upside? Because it looks like it wants to claim this low over here. Okay. Looks like price wants to come for this low, because this structure does not look impulsive at the moment. But we're going to analyze it, guys. We're going to analyze it. This structure here to the downside, well, now this looks like it could form a larger 5-wave structure, eat up the low, and then we need to pay attention, okay, because you could get the bounce from this area. So just a little bit of higher time frame analysis. You know, guys, keep an eye on the trend. If the trend breaks, okay, pay attention. Okay, let me set my alarm so I don't forget about this trend. It's Friday, guys. Let's take it calm. Let's take it cool. Let's be collective and take it easy here on a lazy Friday stream. Okay, so definitely going to keep an eye on that trend. And now I want to discuss, well, what happened this morning. But before we jump into the local structure over here, let's just discuss this little structure. Okay. So there's two ways, okay, in which you can count this structure. First scenario is ABC, which is done. Okay, not going to go, I know it looks messy, guys. I know it looks absolutely messy, but all you need to think, or all you need to worry about is this red line. You have formed a 3-wave structure to the downside. This low needs to be protected. So the bulls, they need to step in here with some green volume. Okay, they need to buy up this dip as aggressively as possible. Okay, and it needs to break the local trend, and it needs to, I will show you guys what level needs to be tapped inside of this zone to give the bulls the confirmation that they can hold this low and we can go up to higher levels. So there's a way in which you can count the corrective structure that came to an end over here. Okay, for the bulls, what's very important is now in this little local structure, when you take a fib from the low to the high, you can see where price also bounced on the 786. Okay, this is the level that needs to hold for the bulls. Because if price had to come back down and it starts tapping the 0.88, because now you're going to start messing with probabilities. It can still bounce, but from a probability perspective is when you bounce on the 0.8, you increase the probabilities of taking the low and invalidating this entire structure. Okay, so bulls, you need to step in, brothers. Okay, for those of you with your $100 million accounts, come on, you know, it's now's the time to long and push the price here to the upside. Okay, so kind of the last leg in the sand for the bulls over here. If the bulls have any chance of moving higher, you know, maximum target for a nice bullish bounce to claim the high again is where price is at the moment. Okay, myself and the Legends Pro community jumped also into a small little long position. Well, maybe some of you jumped into a big long position. I don't know. Okay, I cannot click your buttons and manage your risk. But I jumped into a small little position here, already took profits. I will go into the 5-minute time frame and I'll explain what happened this morning over here. Okay, because I know the dips can get very scary. And also, what I want to discuss is the calm before the storm. Okay, what is the worst case scenario? So for the bulls, you know what needs to be done over here. Okay, you need to hold, right? You need to hold the 786. For the bears, right? And we all know, guys, on Fridays, we get that extreme volatility before the weekend because the weekends are known for ranging structures. So you want the big move to happen today. And we already got a pretty significant move today. But it could not be over, and the day is still fresh, okay? There's still a lot of time before the markets close. So it's either going to recover itself and give us the big move to the upside, or it's going to give us a big move to the downside. Okay, so one of these two is going to happen today, and the question is always up or down. But I can get into these trades with exceptionally good risk management. And if I'm wrong, I get stopped out, hopefully with nothing or with a very small loss. Okay, and then there are some interesting levels here to the downside that I will be paying attention to. And if price wants to shoot here to the upside while I'm already in a long, okay, I'm already well positioned. I'm not going to go crazy, but I can tell you guys, if a certain level to the upside gets hit, if a certain level gets hit to the upside, I will add to that position, you know, to maximize profits to the upside. Okay, so now let's go back to here to the structure. For the bears, right, we are looking at a larger corrective structure still to the downside, okay, where we have formed an ABC in a W, an ABC flat in a X, and now we have completed an A, we've done the B wave, okay, and we are starting a bigger C wave here to the downside, where you want to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here to the downside, because the C wave has to be an impulsive structure, a scary structure, the one that thinks, the one that makes people believe we're going into a bear market. C waves, okay, are very aggressive. That's a C wave, guys. That's a C wave, okay, or A wave. It's motive waves, okay. Right, so C waves can get very, very dangerous. So this is, for now, the most bearish structure that I can see for the moment based on the price action that I have available. Okay, we have formed a motive wave here to the downside in an A wave, right? A corrective structure to the upside to complete a B, and now we're starting motive waves here to the downside that can take us to much lower levels. But can you guys see, I can still attempt longs with great risk management. Guys, risk management, risk management, risk management. Okay, because I remember yesterday or the day before, yes, the day before. Let's zoom into the small little structure over here. Okay, and I will keep on talking about this most probably forever. Until there's no more YouTube channel, until I don't go live anymore, I will keep on talking about it. And if you get gutful of me talking about it, then I'm sorry, but people do not practice good risk management. Myself and the community and Andy, we caught this long. Okay, lots of technical reasons. That was the 1.618. It was the value area high. There was a point of control. I can't remember all the levels, but it was a beautiful trade, guys. And we rode it here all the way to the upside. And I told everyone where. Yes, I did a live stream as well, and I told everyone where my plan, where I'm going to take profits, most of my profits, 80-90% of my profits, and Everyone was euphoric. Everyone was excited. I got the most beautiful messages of people saying, Dewald, you've changed my life. You and Andy nailed the trade here to the upside. And then all hell broke loose over here. And then I got messages of people saying, I've liquidated my account. Okay. I've risked too much. I was adding to my position, thinking that we are going to go higher. And then price just fell down because, you're 100xing, playing with high leverage. And yeah, so the emotional roller coaster, guys, is that, amazing. But you need to, guys, it's so important to stick to your plan, okay? I don't care where the price went higher. I really don't care, because my trading plan was the following. This was my trading plan, okay? That was my trading plan, guys. Okay, and this is something that I talk about a lot in my course as well. So for those of you that are going to take my course in the future, something that I talk about, this was my plan. And I executed my plan to perfection. I didn't FOMO in and add it to position and increase the leverage and did not take profits. No, guys, I did add to my position, but I took 80-90% of my profits over here. I can't remember. I think it was 80%. And I did add slightly to my position. Okay, and then when we hit the highs, you take a little bit more profits because stuff can happen here at the highs, especially if you see a rejection like that. Right. Anyways, I just wanted to throw in a little bit of education, guys, is that the most important thing that you can do as a day trader is that when you've planned your trade, stick to your plan. Leave a moon bag open for higher levels or for lower levels, depending on whether you're shorting or longing. Okay, but please execute on your plan, guys, okay? And that is what keeps you profitable long term, because remember, there's 1,000 trades ahead of you. Okay, it's never the trade. You have to think to yourself, well, there's going to be another trade tomorrow, and there's going to be another trade the next day, and there's going to be another trade, and another trade, and another trade. And if you're FOMOing and over emotional about every single trade, you're going to really struggle as a day trader. Okay, so now from a bearish case perspective, okay, just to summarize this again, there's a chance to go down lower. Okay, just to summarize, right, where in a Y wave, you want to see the similar structure that you got in a W. So you got an A, B, C in W, and now you want to see an A, B, C in Y. Okay, and there's a couple of trend-based fibs that you can apply to the structure. So the easiest one is that you take a trend-based fib. Okay, I just want to make sure that the music is not bothering everyone here in the background, just putting it softer. Okay, so you take a trend-based fib from the high, okay, to the low of W, to the high of X. You drag it across and you click. Now you got your fib levels. Okay, I went slow because a lot of people still ask me, how do I draw trend-based fib extensions? This is how you draw them. Okay, so I know from experience and from theory that a target for a Y wave is the 786, rare target, but a target nonetheless. 1-to-1, most common target, and then this little box over here. Okay, so I have levels where I can pay attention, and then if I have other levels that's overlaid with, where you start building some confluence, now that's where it becomes very, very interesting. So let's see, guys. Let's switch on our point of controls, our daily levels, our weekly levels, and let's just see if we do have confluence at these levels. And I must say, the confluence does look very sexy. Okay, can you guys see here at the 786, we still have a daily level and a high volume node, 786. So it's definitely a zone where you could get a bounce, and I can play that bounce. And if I know where to take profits, okay, so let's say price does this, but it continues to the downside, okay, and it continues to the downside. I can tell you guys now, as a experienced trader, I can take advantage of these little bounces, okay, and I can also short, right? if I see the weakness and take advantage of these little bounces and downwards momentums to the downside. So it's not just about playing the longs. The reason I always focus on the longs is because a lot of people do well longing the market and they struggle shorting the market. Most people, I know that there are people that actually do better in shorting versus longing, but you know, I'm speaking to the majority over here. So this is where these levels become very interesting, is that you can see at the 1-to-1 extension, we have the point of control of the range. So now when I start zooming in here, guys, so let's go to the 4-hour time frame, just to show you guys how I build confluence. I know it looks like an absolute mess at the moment, but I'm going to clean up the kitchen. You know, you need to dirty the kitchen to make the food, and then you start washing the dishes. So I'm busy making food now at the moment. So I like to take my fixed range profile and I look at all the volume inside of this consolidation area. Okay, so from the start till the end. And you can see, very interesting, we have a high volume node over there, and I named it high volume node. It has a 786 and it has a daily level. So strong area of support right over here. We have not tapped this high volume node. The last time we tapped a high volume node was the value area high of this range. We tapped it to perfection, and look at the nice bounce we got to the upside. Do you guys see how powerful these levels can like to be? Because you can make a lot of money with these bounces, guys. Okay, next volume node is over here. High volume node at $109,700. Nice little round number. 109,700, high volume node. And then here by the 1-to-1 extension, which is the most common target for a Y wave, is the point of control of this entire range. This is where the most amount of volume was traded. And if things now really gets ugly to the downside, I mean, it's such a tough nut to crack. The more volume you have, the more the price is going to struggle to get through that level. Okay, but let's just now play out worst case scenario. You still have the 1.236 and the 1.382 with a daily level and a point of control as confluence. Okay, you don't really want price to fall further than that. Okay, because then you're going to start looking at impulsive, it's not going to be nice. Okay, because you're going to claim that low, and I don't want price to claim this low. For the bulls, you want to hold this low. So this is still, you know, this 1-to-1 extension. Let me see from a Fibonacci perspective. Let me take all the noise out the chart. Okay, let's take, just want to see. Let's take the daily levels. Okay, now I'm starting to clean up the kitchen. Right, let's just do a normal trend base, a trend FIP retracement from the low to the high. Okay, you also have 786 with a 618. A little bit here in the middle, okay, but you have the 786. But all I'm trying to highlight here is that if this is impulsive or this is impulsive, however you want to count the structure, because I did highlight during the previous live stream that this can be the high as well. It's not necessarily part of the corrective structure. A lot of people will argue and say, but this retracement tapped the 0.618, so it can't be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not allowed. But on the logarithmic, you did not tap the 0.618, so I'm giving it a benefit of the doubt. Okay, so this is either all part of the corrective structure or the corrective structure started from here. But point being, you don't want to lose the 786, because when you start tapping the 0.88, you increase the probabilities of taking the low. So for the bulls, you want to hold this zone. Okay. Right, so that this structure can remain bullish. You want the structure to remain bullish. And for the structure to remain bullish, it should not take the low. Okay. That's basically, I'm giving the structure the benefit of the doubt. Okay. And I mean, the correction can still continue to the downside, higher low. And, you know, we continue with a bullish structure here to the upside. Okay, so now we've done the confluence. I've shown you where I've gotten these levels from. Okay, so the most important FIP pool at the moment is the 786. Can you guys see where price is currently getting the reaction? Okay, so you know it's a valid FIP pool. When I do a FIP pool, okay, and I watch the levels and I can see, oh, it's reacting at this level and it falls down and it's reacting at the level, you know you've got a valid FIP pool. Okay, you need to pay attention to these levels. They provide nice little trading opportunities. Okay, showering you guys with some education over here, so to remember to smash up that like button. Right, so what I want to do now is, okay, because now everyone is, well, what is happening here? Okay, what on earth is happening over here? So now we're going to do some smaller time frame analysis. And I know that there's not a lot of people on YouTube that can do smaller time frame analysis. Myself, Andy, I know Andy is an absolute legend with 5 minute, 1 minute scalping. Okay, and so let's dive right into it. Let's get into the 5 minute time frame. Okay, I don't think we need to stuff around on the 1 minute time frame. Right, so legends, what happened with this little move here to the downside? Okay, I've got a couple of scenarios. Hi everyone, let me go and say hi to the community. We're taking it a little bit relaxed, a little bit slow. Okay, guys, the reason I prefer to go through comments after I'm done with the technical analysis is because people rewatching the live stream don't necessarily want me to talk about other people's comments while they're not in the live stream. Okay, but today is Friday, I'm going to do that today. Okay, time FIP, please. Someone wants some information on the time FIP. Yes, I can go through some education on the time FIP. I'm going to flag your comment and I will go through that at the end of the live stream for the education. My best socks, man. Yeah. Hi everyone, Rom, welcome to the live stream. George, hit the like, guys. Come on, the content is out of this world. Thank you so much, I appreciate it. Stefan 1, Dewald, it looks like 5 waves. What looks like 5 waves? Okay, from which pivot? You're talking about that bigger structure. Yes, I mean, and this is what a lot of people are seeing. I know this is creating a big debate at the moment between Elliott wave counters. Okay, or what do they call themselves? Ellioticians. It sounds so fancy. Ellioticians. All the Ellioticians out there, okay, they are having a debate. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, some are saying this is the high, and then some are saying, but the 4th wave is too small for the 2nd wave. It doesn't make sense. And then some others are saying, no, but you have a nice little 4th wave over here. That's your 5. Okay, and then some eliticians are saying, but no, you tapped the 0.618. I'm just trading the levels, guys. Okay, because this is interesting. This is a very interesting debate. If you take a FIP, okay, so this 4th wave, the reason some people say that the 4th wave got invalidated right over here is because of this. They take a FIP from the low to the high, okay, of this high over here. Because if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, this is why I'm taking the FIP from number 2. You have to take your you have to take your FIP from number 2 to number 3. And then your 4th wave is not allowed to tap the 0.618. Okay, and it did. But if I click one button, and I do this, tick, it did not. Okay, now this is the debate amongst Ellioticians at the moment. Is some are saying that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and some are saying this is a 1, 2, 3 wave structure, and some of them are saying, well, maybe the market is here to surprise us. We got a teeny weeny little 4th wave over here, but this is the end of the corrective structure, or the impulsive structure, and all of this is corrective. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I prefer taking the September bearishness into account, because you guys know every bull cycle in September is bearish. So far, historically, every September has been bearish. So if every September has been bearish and we put on the hat of, okay, what if we do get a bearish September? Well, then I would say, okay, this needs to be the high then. Okay, because if this is the high, the correction is getting awfully long. Okay, that's where I bring in the time FIP from the low to the high. Okay, because now this is, oops, let me just click it there. Right, so from the start of your impulse to the end of your impulse, you want your corrective structure to finish after the 0.382. If you want a beautifully balanced structure, you usually have an impulse and you have a corrective structure that finishes at the 1-to-1 extension, which means that this impulse and the correction is exactly the same length in time. And this brings us to October, which means that the correction can continue until the end of September, which then aligns with the bearish September. So you don't necessarily have to take out that low. The correction just needs to go sideways. Chop. It needs to chop. Okay. If I bring, okay, this is now where it becomes interesting. If I bring the time fib from this low, oops, let me just select it again, from this low to the high, well, okay, it doesn't invalidate it. But now you can see that your corrective structure is already twice the length of your impulse, which is not bad. It's perfectly normal. Okay, and this is why I have the 1 in green. That is the perfect extension that you want to hit. The 2 is still fine. It's a different shade of green. The 3 is also fine, but it's like, it needs to start finding its feet. And then the 4 starts becoming very dangerous, because then you're looking at something else. It's not an impulsive or corrective structure. You need to start redoing your counts, whatever the case might be. Okay, so, and you will see 5 is red. If you get to 5, then it's most probably an A, B, C, and you're going to fall to the downside. You can't count this as an impulsive structure anymore. Okay, it's just probabilities at the end of the day. Right, so, yeah, at the 4, where it's already becoming dangerous, is the end. So you can see, okay, well, if this is the top, and all of this is still part of the correction, okay, it's getting into the danger territory, but it's not invalidated. Right. It's just probabilities at the end of the day. Okay, time is never an invalidation. It just impacts the probabilities. Right, so let's get back into this little monstrosity here to the downside, guys. Is this the calm before the storm? This is now the question, okay? Right, so the one thing I can say with confidence is that this looks like a beautiful 5-wave structure to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some people are counting it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I don't particularly like the 5th wave to end over here because it's a 3-wave structure, so I prefer the 5 to have ended over there. And all hell broke loose, and we were like, okay, well, if you have a 5-wave structure, impulsive structure, you want to form a higher low and continue, which we did not. We broke down, and we broke down, and we lost the lows. Okay, so now you have to count this 5-wave structure as a corrective structure. And the only corrective structure that it's allowed to be a 5-wave structure is a A, okay, and a C. Right, so this is either A wave or it's a C wave. But nonetheless, okay, so looking at the structure here to the downside, I just want to see if I still have all of these scenarios. Oh, I need to clean up my folders over here. That's the WXY leading diagonal. Oh, look at this. This is something that I looked at this morning as well. Okay. This morning when I did the technical analysis, okay, this is the structure that I looked at, is to say that, well, maybe you formed a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave 1, A, B, C, wave 2. Okay, and we're going to fall in a 3rd wave. Okay, I actually need to just drag these things here to the down. Just do it, because I never know exactly where everything's going to end. Okay, you can just guess at the end of the day. Just want to take this green line here out the way. And that's most probably 5. So in this scenario, okay, this is what it looks like. So if we are forming an impulsive structure to the downside, 1, 2, 3, okay, 4, you could claim the low again, okay, and I'm now playing this momentum here to the upside, right? I can take advantage of the move. I told everyone where my TP areas are. I already took some profits over here, protected my position, definitely, okay, or 4, you know, 4 can now be over here, and now it's going to go down for 5, completing a 5-wave structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, what do you get after an impulse? You get a correction, 3-wave correction. Okay, and I also want to play the correction. So I can tell you guys now, one of the levels to the downside that I will be paying attention to. I don't know if 4 is finished or not. Okay, it could be finished here. Maybe it's going to extend a little bit higher. And I'll get to the bullish case scenarios now, where maybe we don't take the low again. Maybe the low is in and we're going to have a larger impulse here to the upside. Okay, I'm going to get to that scenario. But now let's entertain this bearish case scenario. Because if I go here onto the 1 hour, guys, let me just put it into the bigger picture. Okay, if we are looking at this WXY and we still want price to come down lower over here, you need a wave 1 inside of the impulse, and this could be your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want to take advantage of that little retracement, and I want to short for this third wave here to the downside. I don't know if I don't think I'm going to trade this, by the way. I won't trade that. It's just preference. But in order for the wave to fall further, okay, you need to form a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so can you guys see how I fitted the smaller time frames into the bigger time frames? Okay, now let's go back here onto the 5-minute time frame. So now explaining the structure over here. Let me zoom in so you guys can see crystal clear, because I know some of you are watching the live streams on your phones. Okay, so if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, now you get wave 1. Okay, you go back up for a 3-wave corrective structure, you form wave 2, and then all hell breaks loose in a third wave to the downside. Okay, so, and I want to take advantage because there's a chance that the low could be in over here, and now we're going to form that bigger 4th wave. So maybe I've counted it incorrectly. Maybe it's already a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because, you know, we can get those little tiny little 4th waves. Okay, the low could be in, and this is why I'm giving this the benefit of the doubt. We could get a larger retracement where this becomes 2, the low is in, and then we fall, and this is why I took the trade, because I know it can come eat up these pivots. Okay, definitely a possibility. I already protected position, I already paid my fees. It's a free trade at the moment. If it wants to stop me out to form the 5th wave, let it do so. It's fine. I'm not losing any money. Okay, because I know the market is here to surprise us. Okay, technically, from a textbook perspective, you want to see those beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that is where I long. And the market just doesn't make it easy like that. Okay, so legends, basically what I'm looking for here is that I just want to do a trend-based flip from the high of the structure. Okay, so if this is 1, 2, just interesting to see if it's 1, 2, where did price bounce? Okay, can you guys see this is one of the trend-based flips that we used, by the way, this morning to place this trade? Because usually if you have a 1 and you have a 2 and you have a 3 to the downside, you get a bounce at the 1.618. Okay, this is where I got stopped out of my first attempt, because I knew that this could be a wave 3 over here. Then you form your 4, and then your 5 usually taps your 2 extension. Then I told everyone, okay, once I got stopped out here, I told everyone, now I'm keeping an eye on this level. Okay, and by the way, what a beautiful swing failure pattern. It happened so quick. Look at that. This is where I got in, guys. Bang, stop below the low, price moves up, I protect position. You know, you start hitting consolidation areas, you pay yourself. This is what I do as a trader. So I'm in the trade. I'm giving the bulls the benefit of the doubt. If this structure wants to reverse and there's no 5 wave to the downside, okay, if this is not going to happen, I want to be in the trade. Okay, but this is my style of trading, guys. It's my, you know, and I told the pro community this morning as well, I am a very aggressive type of trader because I can manage my risk. Okay, and I can execute, I can stick to my plan. If you can't stick to your plan, then you're going to struggle with swing failure patterns because they look easy when I explain them here. Oh man, why did I not see that? Yes, see, Dewald explains it so well. Why did I not jump into that trade? I can tell you now that even the people, some of the people inside of the pro community, they still struggle with swing failure patterns, because there's emotion involved, guys. There's money involved. You know, where do you put there's just a million things that flow through your mind. Is that they do take practice, and also I know Andy will also say it's an aggressive style of trading. Okay, a safer way. If you want a more relaxed trade, okay, if you want to not bite your nails every time you enter a trade, well, then you wait for confirmation, okay? One of the confirmations would be, well, then it's not this one, okay? You wait for the break of trend. Okay, that's one confirmation. That's an easier trade, okay? Wait for price to break the trend. Okay, wait for candles to close. Now you need to also apply the rules for the strategy. You want to see some candles closes outside. You know where to put your stop loss. You know where to take profits on the way up. So you need to execute your plan as well. Okay, because I can see that some people are burning their accounts with these SFPs, okay? But look at the nice reactions you got here. A reaction at the 121, 618, 2 extension, got the bounce. And there's a chance it's going to break out. And this is, you know, you have to follow the rules for the strategy, because you could break out and reject for the fifth wave. So you also need to know where to take profits, because if you only going to take profits at the high, it might not get there. And then you were in profits, you didn't take profits, and you got stopped out with a loss. Right, I hope you guys are enjoying the education, okay? Because this is education. This is how you trade. This is how you build a trading plan. This is how you build rules around your trading plan. What I'm sharing here on this channel, I don't see a lot of people talking about on YouTube, okay? I know Andy does it. I know Koens does it. I do it. But I don't know if anyone else does it. AI, can you look at it in the 1 hour time frame, please? What must I look at the 1 hour time frame? Okay, I've already gone through all the high time frames. Right, Pac-Man, are you so rich you get off them? I was waiting for the 1.618 or 2. Stefan, 1. Yes, yes, yes. I mean, me too, guys. I know when you have an impulse to the downside, you know, these two levels are the most important levels to pay attention to. It's either the 618 or the 2. They always get a nice little reaction. You can see the nice reaction that formed at the 618. And there was a chance that it could have bounced and then do the 5 at the 2. Okay. And then I know, okay, if it does this and it bounces, I know there's a high chance I'm going to get a bigger relief rally to the upside. It's also just based on experience, guys. I've done this 1,000 times. I know where it's supposed to bounce, and if it doesn't bounce, which is the next level that's going to get the bounce. Okay. And some people might even say, well, Dewald, why didn't you enter? Okay. Why didn't you enter at the 618? And then when price moved down, why didn't you just add to your position? Because that's not how I trade. Okay. It's not my style of trading. I'd rather take the loss and wait for the next level. Okay, because it's not, you know, I just don't like to trade that way. I used to trade that way, but no, I don't like it anymore. So now, legends, there's something else that I wanted to discuss, and I know that the lower time frames can be very noisy. Okay, it can be very noisy on the lower time frames. So let me clean this up. Okay, let me take everything out the way. On the 1 hour, like AI just asked over here, on the 1 hour time frame, it takes the noise out of the chart. Okay, this looks like multiple 1-2s. Okay, but basically on the 1 hour time frame, this looks like 1, 2, 3. We're going to make a 4 and a 5. So sometimes you have to, you know, just go spend a little bit of time on the higher time frames to see what does the structure look like from a higher time frame perspective. So it looks like it still needs another low. Okay. I can tell you guys now, I'm going to be very interested in this long trade. If price had to turn around and it grabs the low, okay, swing failures from these pivots, and it does not even eat up, it doesn't have to eat up this low, okay, and it gets acceptance back above, that's a trade that I'm very interested in. If it swings the low, even better. Okay, I'm looking for those swing failure patterns. I'm looking for those reactions. Okay. Right, so for the moment, it looks like you have 1, 2, 3. You're still missing a 4 and a 5. Okay, and if it's a 3-wave corrective structure and it's going to continue to the upside, because we know that a corrective structure has to be a 3-wave corrective structure, I'm really struggling to count this structure as an impulse. I'm really struggling, guys, unless we are forming a diagonal. It's the only bullish structure that I see. Okay, because remember, guys, you have to have a clear 5-wave impulse and then you get your 3-wave down. Okay, you need to see that beautiful impulse to the upside, or at least you want to see a diagonal. You want to see one, let me just clean it up here. You want to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want to see at least maybe a leading diagonal. 3-wave corrective, it goes up. Now, what is this? This is a mess, guys. I can't fit the diagonal in here. There's 1, 2, 3, okay? 4 went into the territory of 1, not allowed. So now you have to think about diagonals. Okay, and now you have an expanding structure over here. So you have to take your trends from number 1, connect 3, and now, you know, all hell just breaks loose over here. Now, what on earth is this? A trumpet here to the upside. Okay, and then there are rules. Okay, a expanding structure never ever carries the highest probability. You have to consider all other scenarios before you can look at an expanding structure. So I don't even look at them, guys, to be honest with you. I don't even pay attention to expanding structures. Okay, I'm not going to even entertain them. So it's not a beautiful impulse. The only bullish structure that I see, okay, because for the moment you have a 3-wave. And if the bulls are going to pull out the stops over here and it starts smashing here to the upside, okay, then the only bullish structure I can think of is a bigger diagonal, like such, where you have formed 3-wave structures in a 1, 3-wave structure in a 2. You're going to go a 3-wave structure in a 3, and then you're going to go 3-wave 4, and then you're going to go 3-wave 5. Okay, this then becomes a leading diagonal. You create a 3-wave corrective structure, and you continue to the upside. But it's way too early to talk about this. Okay, you want to see at least a 3 and a 4 before you start talking about a leading diagonal. It's just way too early to talk about or to speculate on this, guys. It's just there's not enough data for me to even consider the scenario. Okay, so I cannot give this the highest probability unless I see the data. So over the coming weeks, or, you know, next week, maybe we get the 3, we get the 4, and then we're going to say, hey, guys, woohoo, maybe we trade the 5th wave here to the upside. And then when we get the retracement, nice little 3-wave structure, you take a fib from the low to the high, 618 golden pocket, you know, then we're going to start talking about it. But for now, there's nothing to talk about. Okay, so which means that the impulse to the downside carries the highest probability. Can you guys see how I need to base my probabilities based on what I'm seeing at the moment? And at the moment, I have a 3-wave structure. At the moment, it looks like the highest probability is to create a 4 and a 5, so that you can have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to trade the corrective structure to the upside, and then I want to look for shorts, okay, to trade the 3rd wave to the downside, because this is a beautiful wave to trade. It's the best, most profitable wave. It's either a C or a 3. I don't care, because some, you know, it can be an ABC or it can be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, but it's the best wave to trade. So I'm going to be looking for shorts, especially, but we have to make a 5. You need to make a 4 and a 5. You need the 4 and a 5 before I can short here. Okay, but now you also understand why I took this long. Because I'm giving the bulls the benefit of the doubt. If the market is here to surprise us, and it is going to give us this little diagonal that I don't want to talk about, well, this is where it needs to bounce. Okay, because you have a 3-wave down, and for now it's corrective. If I see a 5-wave down, then I change my trading strategy, because now I'm going to look for shorts. But I cannot look for shorts if I don't see that. Makes sense? Okay. I'm in a very educative mood at the moment. Right, guys, this is Alpha, okay? If you smash up that like button for the education. All of what I'm teaching you guys now is structured inside of my trading course, which is not ready yet, but it will be released soon. Okay, and I will let you guys know what's going to happen there with the trading course. I go through everything that you need to know as a trader. I go through that. Okay. So yeah, on the YouTube live streams, you get pockets of, okay, I'm talking about this. I'm talking about this. So you really have to watch a lot of live streams to actually put all the puzzle pieces together. But in the trading course, it's structured. Okay. I go from this to this, to this, to this. It's a lot more structured, way more professional, also very nicely recorded. I'm putting a lot of effort into it. Okay, what is breaking? Something's breaking, guys. Why is my trend? No, it's not that one. Which one is breaking here to the upside? Is it the trend? Is it breaking out? Okay, now we go back here onto the smaller time frames. What is cooking? If we can get a successful breakout here, okay, woohoo, that's going to be nice. Okay, needs to close some bodies above this trend. Okay, so guys, what I want to highlight here as well is that you have all of these scenarios on the higher time frames. Okay, you have the ABC, you have the WXY. Maybe the corrective structure is finished. Okay, where we formed this ABC. Okay, maybe you're going to form the. I don't care, guys. I can trade the levels. I can trade the levels because I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know if this is the low and it's going to go higher. I don't know if it's going to form a 4 and a 5. I don't know if it's going to, do this and form the Y. I don't know. No one knows. And if you do know, by all fucking, you need to have a YouTube channel and share that alpha with everyone. Okay, because no one has a crystal ball, but I can have levels ready. I can have a plan ready. I have a plan here to the downside. If price stops me out, I have a plan. If price continues higher, okay, I'm going to take profits because I'm already because I already had a plan. Okay, but I'm also going to have a shorting plan here based on what I see locally. So on the smaller time frames, how the price is developing shows me what the next highest probable move could be. Okay. So guys, I know because sometimes the smaller time frames stuffs you up. There's a lot of noise in the smaller time frames. And let me explain. One of the things that I struggled with this morning on the smaller time frames is that if you want to count this, okay, as the top of this impulse, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If this is the top, now there's a lot of shit happening over here that confuses the crap out of the structure. Okay, because now some people are, we were speculating to say that, well, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But now something there doesn't make sense on the smaller time frames. Okay, and that's why it's sometimes better to focus on the larger time frames. Because on the 5 minute, and I can even go here onto the 3 minute time frame and show you guys what I'm seeing. Okay, I'm not saying it's going to play out or not play out, but here on the smaller time frames, if this is the top, okay, I cannot count 5 waves to the downside. Yeah, I'm struggling to count 5 waves here to the downside. Okay, then you have, okay, let's say this is 5 waves. Okay, this is 5 waves. And then you have maybe an A, B, C. Okay, that forms your 2. So maybe now this one looks way better. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful 5-wave structure. Okay, and then you have a corrective structure. Right, and then you have more 1, 2s here to the downside. But basically based on this mess over here, if this is the end, you need to count clean 5 waves to the downside. But can you guys see how the smaller time frames can put you in doubt? Okay, and because of this mess, what I did is to say that, okay, I can see, I acknowledge the mess upstairs. Okay, let's go back to the 5 minute. And I said, okay, well, what if this is maybe this is, where's that thingy? This is maybe an A. This is an A. Let's label it an A because an A can be a messy structure. It can be a 5-wave, 3-wave. It can be a messy structure. This is a B, and now we're going down for a C. Okay, usually when I see a mess that doesn't make sense to me in an impulse, okay, because there's a nice contracting diagonal there as well. Okay, this one counts beautiful as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. Now that one looks nice from over there. Now I'm struggling with that. So this is why I can now label it as an A. B, and if you're now forming a C wave here to the downside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's a chance that it's done. This is also why I'm giving the bulls the benefit of the doubt, because this could be an ABC to the downside. And if you have an ABC to the downside, you increase the probabilities of taking out that high. So because of this mess, I also took this trade. Can you guys see? There's a million things going through my mind when I'm assessing the probabilities and the markets and everything like that. Like, is it a trade worth taking for me? And for me, it was, okay, you guys can see it's breaking out here. It looks like it wants to go for now. Okay, looks good. But I'm already in my trade, so I'm not doing anything right here. But if this is an ABC, okay, I can tell you guys now, let's play out worst case scenario. If this is an impulse, if this is a 1, 2, this is 3, we're going up for 4, well, and we're still going to make a low. There's an invalidation for this scenario. You take your fib. Let me just make sure that I'm back on the regular scale. Yeah, okay. You take your fib from the high to the low. Okay. And now this becomes very interesting profit-taking areas. So I know if this is going to form a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we're still going to reject. The fourth wave has to reject in this zone. Has to. Okay, in order to get this. So if price continues to rally here and it taps the 618, I'm going to leave a bigger position open of this trade. Because the fourth wave is not allowed to tap the 618. Okay, this is what I'm waiting for, guys. But I can tell you now, if I see weakness at the 382, if I see weakness over here, I'm going to take some more profits. Maybe I'm just going to take profits nonetheless. Okay, so maybe my TP areas will be as follow. I already took a little bit of profits, 10%, 15% profits over here. When we hit resistance, I took profits. So this will be a TP area, this will be a TP area, and as soon as we tap this level and we come back for a retest, I will add. Okay, I'm not going to add here, guys. No ways, because you can still reject. Okay, but you could be forming a larger structure to the upside because you're invalidating a fourth wave. Okay, this is just how I'm planning to play this. Obviously, based on new information, I might change my mind, but based on what I'm seeing right now, this is how I plan to trade this, because I know that this could be an ABC. A, B, C. And it makes sense. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in C. It makes sense. I just want to see what the volume looks like on the higher time frame, because I know that C waves loves to end on a high amount of volume. Yeah, it's nothing crazy actually at the moment. Okay, let me go through some more comments. I feel like I'm talking a little bit too much. Guys, if we can get at least a body of a 15-minute candle close above, okay, you know, that's your first bullish sign that you want to see. If it leaves a wick behind and it starts trading back below the trend, I'm going to take some profits, more profits. The volume has me worried too. It's not a lot of green volume here to the upside, but also if this is a third wave, a C wave, C waves loves a lot of volume. They are scary moves to the downside. Okay, but anyways, I'm just trading the levels at the moment, guys. Just trading the levels, because also, you know, if you know your fib extensions based on Elliott wave theory, okay, you know that if this is an ABC, A, B, C, okay, you take your trend-based fib from the high to the, oops, not your trend-based fib, from the high to the low to the high of B. That's how I got into this trade, because I know that C waves love the 618 and the 2 extension. Often what happens, guys, and this is how this is how C waves like to play out, is that usually the third wave inside the C wave, the 1, 2, 3 gets the bounce. It gets the bounce at this 1.618. Okay, and then it goes taps the 2. That's the most common C waves plays out like that. If a C wave just falls to the downside and it taps the 2 directly, there's often the possibility that it's done. It's not going to fall 5. The C wave, specifically the C wave, is not going to fall 5 anymore. So if this is A, B, C, okay, it should be done. You don't want this low to be taken again because it hit the 2 extension. And this is something that I have picked up during my back testing. Okay, and I know that I can't remember some of the legends in the pro community. Okay, I actually went and I did a lot of back testing because often in the community we see an ABC structure. Okay, and we're waiting for 4 and 5, and then the 4 and 5 doesn't come, it just goes. And and everyone's like, what happened? We were waiting for 4 and 5. So from the back testing that I've done is that if the C wave bounces on the 618, then there's a higher chance for a fourth wave, and then it comes down and it bounces on the 2. If it goes straight down to the 2, it's most probably finished. Okay, because I can see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you got a tiny fall. Rule of alternation, doesn't have to be a long fall. Okay, so if it's an ABC, it needs to be done. And you want the 618 that I've highlighted when you take a trend-based flip from the high to the low, you want that to be tapped. If price is going to reject in this zone, okay, one more low, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then you're looking for a bounce for a corrective structure. But this is also, guys, so something that I just want to point out. It sounds a little bit easier than what I'm saying over here, but there could be multiple 1-2s in here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, there could be multiple 1-2s in here. So if price does reject, okay, you could get that grinding structure before it turns around. So it could get choppy here to the downside, very choppy. Okay, it's not going to be as clean as 5 is in, we go back up for the correction because of how choppy this structure is over here. Naughty mod, is Dutch here in the comment section? Because that's the only mod I know. Dutch, it's Dutch here. Mr. Dutchy, welcome. I typed best educational crypto content and Google sent me here. Well done, Mr. Mark Dutch. Well done. There's your first bullish sign, by the way, guys, just from a trend line, a trend strategy perspective. Okay. Not, 10 minute, 15 minute, close the candle above. 10 minute has not closed the candle above. That's weird. Okay, because the trend changes. Okay, but there's some bullish signs that it wants to go up. I just want to see what CVD is doing because I saw some bearish CVD, which did not give me the confidence. But I mean, I know the market is here to surprise us, but this is something that I have noticed. So for the bulls, if you guys want to FOMO into a trade, okay, just be aware of the following. Okay, look at this. We invalidated it because I was watching this pivot and price over here, and then I saw, well, yellow is all the way down here, and it's all, that's bearish, guys. That's bearish as hell. Okay, but blue and white is neutral. It's only the Bybit bros that are longing like crazy people here at the moment. Okay, but I mean, this pivot is still very far away, and look at where it is. So you don't have bearish CVD against this pivot just as yet. There was bearish CVD here as price was grinding up, forming, but now it got invalidated. Okay, so let's see if price can climb higher and not form bearish CVD against this pivot. It could look good. Okay, so you have this one over here, this one over here, and as price is climbing to the upside, you don't want to see this, okay, where you form bearish CVD and you have a higher low on price action. You want, it needs to grind up slowly. It needs to stay neutral. That's good. Dewald, did you count me out? Stefan 1, did I count you out? I don't know if I counted you out. I'm longing like Dewald 2.0. Yes, I mean, that was the best level to get into, guys. It got choppy. I know it got choppy. It scared the crap out of some people. I know that, but I got stopped out, guys. I can't remember exactly on the smaller time frame. I was trading the 3-minute. I got stopped out of this trade. Okay, I think with this dump, I got stopped out. My stop was here. And then I posted immediately. I said, Legends, now let's look for the 2 extension. Okay, beautiful swing failure. And now I'm up. Okay. And it's breaking trend. Now you guys can see I don't have to play the strategy because I have such a good free trade at the moment. I don't have to play the break of trend. Okay. Maybe a good place to add a little bit. It could be a very good place to add where you're just adding. So if you have a position over here, what you could do is add ever so slightly just to drag your entry up a little bit. Okay, and you can still protect it. To maximize profits here to the upside, because I can tell you guys now this is a rejection zone. Okay, high chance that this, sorry, not that one. Let's take this trend base fib out the way. Let's take a fib from the high to the low. Okay, there we go. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a rejection zone, and if price does not reject in this zone and it taps the 618, it's going to start giving probabilities to the bulls. Also, the reason it will give probabilities to the bulls, guys, because if this is, okay, look at the structure. Very, very interesting what I'm going to tell you guys now. I'm not even, I don't even if I should tell you guys, because this is golden. This is really golden. Okay. If this is an A, B, C, you can see that inside of the C wave, you have a nice little 5-wave structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. If we are forming impulses to the downside, the red structure that I have, where this is 1, 2, this has to be 3, and you have to create a 4, and you still have to create another low, because this is way too big for this. Okay, that's the difference, guys. And that's why I'm saying that if price goes up and it taps the 618, okay, you don't have a proper impulsive structure to the downside. And then it increases the probabilities that you can go to higher levels and even come and claim this high. Just has to be said. This is how I'm reading the structures. Suzanne, welcome. I'm in long on XRP and it at the bottom. Great. Okay, which is nice. You can protect position if you're wrong. You don't lose any money. I hope the low is in and we pump more. I'm in profits and just put my SL in profit. Beautiful. I love it when people say that. I know Crypto Big Brains inside of our community. He also trades like this. I'm in position protected, already took some profits to paid fees. Like when I see his comments, I'm just like, well done, brother. Well done. You know, that's where the teacher becomes the master. Like you get in, you protect position, you take profits to cover your fees and you let it ride. If you're wrong, you lose nothing. Okay, that's how you trade. Because the only thing you can control in this market is your risk, okay, and the buttons that you press. Put your pants back on, Phantom. This education is so sexy. Dewald, do you trade high impact news? No, I don't. I don't. If I'm already in a trade, often my position will be protected already. But if my position is not protected, I will often get out of the trade. Okay, I don't like to trade high impact news at all. Okay, I know some channels, what they will do is they will purposefully trade the high impact news and go live. Okay, and that's just to attract people to come and watch. But you're gambling. You're literally gambling. Because you guys know, you know, Mr. Jerome Powell, he talks, the price does this, it does this, it does this. It even sometimes goes backwards and, you know, it goes sideways. Like the price does all crazy stuff. You know, you know, I don't like to trade high impact news. I have seen fundamental traders that only trade news. Okay, but it's not a skill that I possess or that I have ever thought of going into. I just prefer the technical analysis, reading the structures, protecting my position, watching the levels. If I am in a trade and my position is protected, I'll just leave it. And sometimes price goes in my favor and I get a bigger move than what I expected. Right. Data coming out in 4 minutes. Oh, do we have high impact news? By the way, guys, do we have? Let me do this. Let's open up a tab. What news is coming out today? Oh, it does this every single time. Resets my settings. Okay, it's not so bad. Today, Friday, we have core PCE index month on personal income, month on month personal spending, and that is in 4 minutes. Okay, that's 4 minutes, guys. Let me stay live for another 4 minutes, definitely, because it's either, okay, something that I want to highlight here, guys, is the fourth wave does not have to reject in this box. Doesn't have to reject here. It can be in already. And if the news is bad, you can go down for your fifth wave. Okay, you can go boop. Doesn't have to reject in this box. This is just the preferred most common targets where it rejects 8 out of 10 times. This is where it rejects. Okay, but it doesn't have to. It already tapped the minimum requirement. Okay, so if the news is bad, okay, I will be waiting for these levels to the downside. If the news is good, hopefully it takes us to the 618. Okay, now that would be great. This little consolidation area over here, these pivots. Okay, there's not much left to be said here, legends, at the moment. News coming in 2 minutes. Hi, Dewald. Angela, welcome to the live stream. I like your certainty when you speak. It gives confidence to the viewers. Thanks. Absolute pleasure. Dewald is the best. Thank you so much. I'm seeing a lot of new people here today, unless you guys changed your names and your profile pictures, but there's a lot of new people here in the stream today, and I appreciate you guys. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and while we wait for the news to come out, remember, guys, still 2 minutes left. I do not have it open. I do not have it open. YouTube. Let's open up YouTube over here. Oh, Mr. Andy is also almost going live. Mr. Andy is going live in 2 minutes. Mr. Andy is going live in 2 minutes, guys. Okay, so I'm expecting a lot of people to drop off the stream to go and watch Andy. Right, what to expect? Let's go. Okay, right, legends. So just while we wait for the data to come out, down in the description, if you want the biggest bonuses and best trading fees, okay, link down in the description. Bluffin, all you need is an email and a password. Weeks has got an insane bonus at the moment, 20% discount, 20% money extra that gets airdropped into your account. Depending on how much you deposit, you get 25% discount on your trading fees, and you get upgraded to VIP status 1. If you want to join our Legends community, like I said, always when I have live streams, I tell everyone, okay, this is what I told the pro members. This is what I told the pro members. Well, if you want to be part of that community, here's the link to sign up. Okay. And also your way to support the channel, guys. Okay, I'm not hiding the fact that I have affiliates with these 2 exchanges or 3 exchanges. BTCC is also here sometimes as well. And, and I often get the question, Dewald, how do you actually make money from the affiliate links? Well, guys, it's not a lot, okay? When you place a trade, and let's say it costs you $1 to open up the trade, I get a percentage of that fee, the $1. I get a percentage of that. That's how we get a little bit of cash out of the affiliations. But you guys benefit more because you get the sign-up bonuses, you get a discount on trading fees, and it costs you nothing extra. Ooh, my trade is printing. Is the news good? What happened? Is the news good? Let's refresh. Okay, it is there. Okay. Actual 3. Forecast was 2. 4, 5, 3. So it came out higher. It came out higher than expected. Personal income, spending, month on month. But the market loves it. Okay. Are we going to go up to the 618? Oh, yes. Let's, come on. Where's my cookie? Come on, Bitcoin. There we go. Right, you need to grab the biscuit. Okay, guys, there's a high chance that we could go to higher levels. Okay, even with a little bit of a pullback. There's a high chance. Holy crap, my profits are printing over here. I'm taking some profits here, guys. I am taking a little bit of profits over here. Okay, it's just what I do. I need to take some profits. This is really good profit-taking area. There we go. Beautiful. That is so nice. Okay, now that the 1.618 has been tapped, now you guys can see, well, if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 is not allowed to tap the 618. So you basically invalidated an impulse, which means that price could potentially, it could swing the lows again. I'm not saying it can't swing the lows. All I'm saying is it invalidates an impulse. 1, 2, and you just fall to the downside in a third wave. So you could still do this, okay, but you are going to contain the structure at the same range. Right, this cookie, guys, is amazing. Okay, I rip it out when I need it to take some money. Okay, cool, legends. I know that Andy is going live soon, so I'm going to wrap it up here and say thanks to everyone for being here and smashing up that like button. Have yourselves an amazing weekend. Take a break from the chart, especially tomorrow. And until the next one, cheers for now.